top 10 trans women, like, all at once? Yeah, no, please, listen, I can only take so much and I'm only so gay, alright? I don't need to be topped more often. Hey there, lovely beans. It's time for some more trans memes. I hope you all have been having a very lovely time, and thank you so much for the support that I've gotten on the last video. I recently opened up a Patreon, and a few of you have already subscribed, and you have no idea how much that means to me. Y'all have done amazing, and I just want you all to know that. So thank you. And the Discord server has grown quite a bit over the past couple of weeks since I've last posted. Thank you again so much for the support, and I'm not sure when this video is going to come out. Maybe it'll come out Sunday the 27th, maybe it'll come out on the 3rd, I'm not honestly sure which. Maybe I'll post this on a Saturday. Either way, my birthday's on October 29th, and I'm finally 32. Alright, now here are your trans memes. Hello everyone, I want to spread some positivity and affirmations, so I made some good gender drugs in tea form. Tea for my trans mask, and tea for my trans femmes. I have a question. Could you infuse this into coffee as well? Just asking for a gay little fox. I would really appreciate having some coffee. You know, just a little bit. Be great. Thank you. My dysphoria coming back after I realized my new shoes don't quite fit. Yeah, it is just like a blast in the face and a reminder. I hate it. I mean, it's already bad enough that, like, for me personally, I wear a size 12 in women's, and those shoes do not exist anywhere besides online stores, and so I have to take the gamble of whether or not it's going to actually work for me. So I've been very fortunate in the fact that I've been able to find shoes that fit me, but there have been occasional times where I get reminded that I don't have the form or the figure for certain, like, boots, and that sounds weird, but, like, the way my body is shaped won't work for, like, wide shoes sometimes, and it's just and even, like, with the Vans that I wear, sometimes I look down and I just see my outfit and I go, so it's rough. It is rough, but hey, you can find some shoes that look really good on you. You just gotta keep trying. Transition goals.
I have concepts of a plan.
Transition. What do you want to look like, girl? Please. I just want to look like a woman. That's it. That's all I want. Yep. I'm trans. Panic. I'm trans. Calm. I'm trans. Panic. Yeah, that kind of is just how it goes, though. Whenever I was first starting to figure out that I was trans, I didn't want to be trans, and I wanted to be anything else besides trans, and I was trying to find another label, and then I finally accepted it, and I was like, yeah, I'm trans. Oh, I'm trans! So, definitely I feel this, it's different, and it's gonna feel different, but yeah. Don't worry about labels, you just be you. No, I need to make myself fit into a specific identity so I can have a better sense of who I am and I act accordingly. Yeah, I mean, no, I agree with the title for this meme of life is simpler than we think sometimes. It really honestly is. Don't worry about the labels. You identify as how you want to identify, and you can live the way that you want to live. There is no need to perform the gender that society has told you to perform it as. You don't have to be hyper feminine or hyper masculine to be a woman or a man. You don't have to be androgynous to be non-binary. Just be yourself. That's all that matters. Get new clothes. Happy. Dysphoria. Hi. Whenever you put on clothing for the first time, especially earlier in transitioning, the dysphoria speaks so loudly, and it's so hard to work with. But I do want to say that it gets better. You start to feel more of who you are, and you start to be happier with who you are and the clothes that you wear. You feel more confident wearing those clothes. I've been feeling it more and more recently, where I'm happier to actually start taking selfies of myself and taking pictures of myself and posting those selfies. So whenever it gets to time, you too will feel that way. Someone says my birthday, me, shut the fuck up. I mean, oh my god, anytime I have to see my dead name, I am, it's so gross, I hate it. And anybody who says my dead name, I just look them dead on the eyes, I just go like, shut up. No one wants to hear you speak. And so, I feel this. How many people are going to learn something about themselves when I whisper into their ear, shut the fuck up? I don't know how that's gonna come through. I'll find out later. Hi, Fox Mom here. Gender bender spells, woman. Okay. Now then, I need two more. I need one for men and one for androgyny. I just need all 3 of them so I can put them down onto my little desk here and hand them out to whoever needs them whenever they need them or whenever they want them. Can I get all 3 of those?
After all these years, finally, we have them all.
Male to females talking female to males. I think being a girl is great. How can you say that without vomiting? Yeah, the other way around. I feel that 100%, but at the same time, like, I then have to remind myself that just because I didn't like being a guy doesn't mean that there are not people who do enjoy being a guy. I mean, I failed at it for 28 years of my life and like, ugh. But for those that, I mean, if you're thriving and you're happy being a guy, I love that for you, and that's amazing. I'm very happy that you feel that way, and I hope that you can also relate to me whenever I say that I love being a girl. I mean, you might be like, but understand that, like, it's kind of like, it's the same but different, you know? Like, it's like whenever I talk to people from around here in Massachusetts and they go, oh my God, Missouri's so beautiful. And I go, I mean, I've been in Missouri most of my life. I'm kind of just used to everything. And it's just, no, I've seen everything. But then I say the same thing to them about how I think the state of Massachusetts is just so gorgeous. And they're just like, eh. So I feel like it's a very similar vibes of just like, I've been a guy, I really didn't like being a guy, and I've experienced a lot of things with being a guy, and but if it makes you happy and being seen and perceived as a guy makes you feel the most realist version of you, then that's great and that's amazing, and I love that for you, and I'm very happy for you. All right, it's just so hard to use your chosen name and new pronouns. That sounds like a you problem. Yeah, it really isn't that hard now, is it? Like, hi, okay. Like, I understand that, like, there is a little bit of an issue of, like, readjusting, but that onboarding period of time shouldn't take that long, and it shouldn't really be that hard, and you should not be that upset when somebody tells you that their name and their pronouns are different from what you remember. You know how hard it was for me to switch to call some of my best friends by a different name, to go by different pronouns for them? Not that hard. I remember when I worked at a grocery store back in Missouri, somebody came up to me and was just like, hey, this person's name's changed and they go by these pronouns now. And I go, cool. And that was before I even knew being trans was a thing. Me, back in 2014, had no clue about trans people. And somebody came up to me and was just like, oh, hey, by the way, this person now goes by this name. And I immediately just changed my language. It was not that hard. Sit down and shut up. How often do you imagine yourself as the opposite gender? Oh, just the normal amount. The normal amount is 0. Oh, things just got complicated, didn't they? Yeah. Is it 0? I need to go see a therapist really quick then, don't I? No, I've already seen one, and we've already gone through all that stuff. It's amazing how when you talk to people about gender, how you're just like, yeah, no, have you never thought about that? And they go, no, what? Why would I be the other gender? Or why would I be anything but the current gender that I am? And you're just like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna move over here and don't mind me. It's okay. Yeah, I just, sometimes people, I don't like, it reminds me of like whenever I was like learning about being trans, how I was trying to figure out if I was faking or not. And somebody was like, hey, you wanna know how you know if you're faking or not? I said HRT in front of you. In this case, it was, I said an estrogen pill in front of you. Do you take it? Because if your thought is, oh yeah, of course I take it. Cis men don't think that way. They would be disgusted by it. And I know this because that's what my cis male friends did. They thought the idea of taking an estrogen pill was gross. So let me ask you again, do you really think you're faking it? Even Sans loves the dysphoria hoodie. It's so good. It's so comfy. Hey, listen. Okay, you know what that dysphoria hoodie becomes later on? If you're trans femme, it becomes an oversized hoodie that you can just wear like as a dress. It's so comfy, so good. And for my trans mascot there who love the dysphoria hoodie, buddy, you can still wear it even after top surgery. Are you kidding me? That has so much space and so much room that like you can just curl up in there and just feel warm. It's so good. Me talking to my trans mask friends, they start talking about how small my boobs are and how they make me look flat and wish they had them as small. It makes me feel dysphoric because I hate them so much. Oh no, I feel like this is something that we always have to deal with as trans people. Like we don't think about how often the thing that makes us euphoric could make other people dysphoric. I think that's something that we in the trans community could always kind of just be a little bit better about. I know sometimes that we want to be like, oh God, yeah, I wish I had your X or your Y, but the thing is, it's just like that X or that Y could make somebody feel very dysphoric about themselves, and bringing attention to it could remind them about it and not feel super great. I tried straying away from using jokes of just like, yeah, I wish I had like I'd be more than happy to swap my my dick for your breast, but and like sometimes like I don't know, like it kind of just depends on like how friendly I am to that person and like how much rapport that I have with them. But it's just sometimes it could be a little too dysphoric, just sometimes, and we need to be mindful of that and be receptive to other people and how they react to the things that we say. So this is not just to my trans mask out there. This is also to all my trans femmes out there and my non-binary people. Just, you know, maybe get a sense of something before you say how you wish you had X or Y like other person. You might be surprised to learn that maybe that person doesn't really appreciate that. Maybe. The blowhigh, my beloved. Sharky Fwin. Cute girls love the blowhigh. Not just cute girls love the blowhigh. You know, there are many people who love the blowhigh. Cute girls, handsome boys, and valid non-binaries. We all love the blowhigh. So cuddly. So easy to cuddle. I love it. Totally cis people are trying to sleep be like, I wish I was the opposite gender. Yeah, I don't know. I remember having dreams of, I used to go to a lot of church camps whenever I was younger, and I would have dreams about them, but the dream that was like constantly recurring and everything was so like, and this is a lot of you are going to be like, oh, or like, oh, cat. But I used to have dreams of like being forced onto a toilet that would like change my gender. And there were like, at first it was like I was being forced, and then there were dreams that later on just became that I willingly got onto that toilet and wanted to be presented as a woman and be seen as a girl. And so I didn't really think much of it back then, but now that I look back at those dreams and remember them, I'm like, ah, yes, the totally cis dreams of willingly sit on a toilet that just changes your gender. Have it, you're gay at Estrogen Burger. HRT meal for only $5.99. Comes with a free toy. Impossible Burger. Woke sauce. Proton fries. 5G nuggets. Vaccine drink. I would go to a spot like this 100%. I mean, I don't really think that's how like Impossible Burgers actually work at all, but if it is, can I get like 3 burgers, please? The cis desire to be Gwen Stacy from the Spider-Verse movies. Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm playing Fortnite, I specifically play Gwenpool, but like, that's just, it's 100% gender envy. It really honestly is, and I really just want to look like her, and honestly, can we also just say that her haircut is so good? Like, also, I really love Gwen Stacy, and I own Spider-Gwen, like the first run of her comics. Here's the signed copy that I have from the writer. So, first edition, totally not at all a Spider-Verse person at all. Nope, can't prove it, except for that picture. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I mean, God, I wish glasses would just do that to me, but at the same time, putting on glasses really like changes how I look. It's so amazing. But also, hey, if anybody finds those glasses, could you please like point them out to me so I can maybe try them on? And you know, oh wait, I'm just gonna look the same. All right, it's because I already was a woman. I guess really you're just seeing your future self, aren't you? Whenever you put on those glasses. Chocolate, matcha, overthinking kills your pee-pee. Oh, ha. Sorry, I had to do the Minecraft villager. But like, I wish, because you know how anxious I am and how much I overthink, like just trying to like hang out and chat and talk with people. It's so hard to like plan streams and to like collab with people because what if they don't like me? What if I am annoying? What if I'm too quiet? What if I'm not quiet enough? What if I'm just, yeah, it might just be a dream, but it's such a good dream. One day you'll look down at yourself and be able to see that you are a very beautiful woman. Trust me, it takes time. You have to trust the process, but it works. It really does. And I'm not just saying this for my trans femmes out there. This is also for my trans mask out there as well. If you just give it time, you'll see the person in the mirror is who you've been wanting to be this entire time. And it's absolutely amazing. I know the trip and the journey to that point is rough. It's hard, but it's so satisfying once you're there. 1 week into quarantine, 1 year into quarantine. Yeah, it wasn't even a year. It was like 2 months. It was 2 months. But like, how many of us sat there and were just like, I'm still unhappy with everything that there's about. Like, there's a level of unhappiness that I already was, but like, why am I still having these like thoughts of wanting to wear women's clothing, wanting to be presenting as a woman, and wanting to like be seen as a whoa. It's because I'm trans, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, like, that's kind of what happened to me, though. It's just, I mean, for me, I was in a very good position. I had a very well-paying job. I was living comfortably. I was in a very healthy relationship. I had 2 beautiful cats who are absolutely amazing. We now have 3. And I still felt miserable. I had a car that I had already just paid for. I was very successful in my career. I had friends. I was playing a lot of Magic and was like really good at Magic, and I was getting more involved in the Magic community, both in my space and also kind of in a broader area. And I still felt hollow and empty on the inside, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I just sat there and I just thought about life, and I thought about some stuff, and well, then my wife walked in on me and was just like, are you okay? And then that just opened the floodgates. So, and now here we are 3 years later, and I don't even look back. I couldn't look back. I'm so happy being the person that I am today. I'm so happy that I finally took that step. The only thing I wish I could have done is told my younger self that it's okay. And that's it. We are not the same. You watch anime for hot girls. I watch it because I want to be one. And also the first one. Yeah, I do watch anime for the hot girls, but also I kind of want to be some of those girls. I mean, come on. We are not the same, you and I. Well, the person watching this video, we are probably the same. But to those who watch anime as a whole, we are not the same. Realistic transition goals. Your forger. You know, that's kind of fair. Your is definitely like a transition goal. I mean, I don't think there are bad transition goals just in general. I don't think you could hit me with a bad transition goal. And I say this knowing how many non-binary people have put up like the image of just like the scrunkliest, weirdest looking little creature and just like gender goals. I'm like, no, I feel that. I 100% feel that. Me, every time I get called good girl. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty though, it's so real. I am always just going back and forth and just kicking my feet, wiggling and smiling every time somebody calls me a good girl. It feels so good. My wife will say it to me every once in a while, and I know I just go, no, but there's a smile on my face when I go, no, absolutely not, stop it. So, remember allies, if someone asks if your friend is trans, the correct response is, what are you, a cop? Yeah, hello? No, I'm not gonna sell anything to anybody. You gotta pay me. And even then, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna take your money and run. A cab all the way. That's all I have to say. Why are you always broke? Me, well, don't. $350 penalty. Do I need to up the price on me saying ooh on my streams? Cause, maybe that's why Chad hasn't made me do it in a while. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for saving me money. I'm kind of broke right now. Ugh. They weren't lying. That action do make you cry. Yeah, it does. After a while, you start to feel a little bit more emotional, and you kind of feel more emotional about things. Like, I've been noticing that, like, it's a lot easier for me to cry whenever I see something that's just kind of sad or really cute or makes me extremely happy. I've been crying more on stream recently just because, like, I've been seeing how sweet and kind and just absolutely fantastic and amazing everybody is, and it's just, I can't take it sometimes. Positively, but y'all are amazing. And I can't believe how many of you have been just so supportive and like caring and just have been there. And it's something new to me, and I'm still trying to get like used to it, but it's been overwhelming sometimes. And I'm trying to get used to it, and I'm trying to be more accepting of it. And this is just, it's all new to me. How I feel, how I look. Oh, yeah, I kind of feel this. I recently, when I was in the mountains, I was taking selfies of myself, and when I was taking my selfies, this is how I looked. When I saw the pictures of people taking pictures of me, this is how I looked. I felt dysphoric whenever I saw those pics, and I was, But I know in all reality that I know this is how I see myself whenever I see those pics, but this is how people perceive me for the most part. Nurse who isn't sure if I'm female to male or male to female. Have you had a cervix screening before? Me, who's an androgynous presenting pre-HR2 trans woman.
I am no man.
Oh my god, confusing the nurses into not knowing who you are or what your gender is. That is absolutely amazing and something that I wish I could easily do. I mean, I'm just happy whenever somebody calls me Miss. Like they get it right for once. And it's so satisfactory and so satisfying. But also just like the ability to just like confuse people feels amazing as well, where they just kind of look you up and down and just like, you. How are you today? And what is your gender? Keep confusing the cis and the straights. Absolutely amazing. Breakfast. Okay. Girls. Come here. We need to chat. You need to have more for breakfast. You need to have, I know, estrogen. Yeah, that's good. I'm proud of you. You need to have more than just crackers. Have some coffee at least, please. My mom is showing me old photos of hers. You kind of looks like me and I get gender euphoria. Yeah, okay, but this is actually me and my mom. Like, if I could show you pictures of my mom when she was in her 20s and 30s and show you pictures of me now and me in my 20s, you would look at the two of us and just be like, yeah, that's the same person. That just looks like a gender bending version of that person. And now I just look like my mom. It feels so good, and it feels so like euphoric that I now just look like my mother. I mean, okay, I look like my mom, but I look like my mom. My friend transitioned, but I found out she's naming herself Mildred. I want to be supportive, but Mildred? Okay, listen, this is based. Listen, I love the fact that you were very supportive of your friend, but honestly, yeah, Mildred? Girl, pick a better name. I mean, okay, if you like Mildred, then then go for it. But you are a 60-year-old grandma. You are an old lady. I'm so sorry. I mean, if you're an old lady who's picking the name Mildred, fantastic. Fitting. If you're young and you're picking the name Mildred, have you collected your AARP yet? No, kidding. I'm kidding, of course. Enjoy the name, and I hope you really enjoy being called Mildred, or Millie, or Dread. Ooh, wait, actually being called Dread as a trans woman? No, I still like my name.
This is brilliant, but I like this.
Maybe I need to get my friend Merxie in here and just be like, you got any words? You want to talk about how you steal little shinies and everything? Well, I'm sorry, you don't steal shinies. How you liberate shinies from people. Me, one day, HRT. This is so cool. Me, like 300 plus days on HRT. This is so cool. Yeah, first day of HRT, like you can just tell that if you're going to like it or not. And then by day 300, you're just the happiest version of yourself and just absolutely, like, you just feel great. You feel good. You're you. And that's, like, I think the most important thing. Updating. Happy New Year. I mean, I kind of wish it just happened that way, but at the same time, though, it kind of does happen that way, especially with HRT. Yeah. One day you just wake up and all of a sudden you just see yourself as the gender that you would prefer. It does take time to get there, but it does feel like it happens in an instant. So one day you'll get there. I know you will. Non-binary, gender-neutral tampons. Just find a hole and hope for the best. Wait. Internal protection that doesn't discriminate. Flushable cardboard applicator. Oh my god. Technically, I mean, tampons in general are gender neutral. Like, I carry tampons on me all the time for in case if somebody needs them. I don't know who's going through it. I don't know who needs them. Anybody can need them, regardless of how they present. So, yeah, it's always good just to have some on hand so I can pass them out whenever they're needed. Giving into trans denial because I'm tall. Being a tall girl, so many friends can call me mommy and give them uppies. I don't want to be called mommy. Mother, please. But at the same time, I can't do uppies. I can't give uppies. My arms are so weak. Oh my god. And I don't want to be buff either. I'm happy being a toned down, slendered young woman. Well, I'm not really young anymore. I'm 32 soon. But whatever makes you happy and whatever gives you euphoria, that is what matters. When you press the button, HRT, you get boobs, but you permanently lose your ability to lie face down on your chest. I mean, I can't do it anyways. I shouldn't be doing it anyways. I have pretty bad acid reflux, so slamming that button. I understand that I used to sleep that way all the time, but I can't now. Not because of my boobs, but because of my stomach. Literally, it hurts. It's uncomfortable. I'm pressing that button. 100%. Trans femme VTuber reacting to trans memes. Actually, no, I'm not even worried about this. Honestly, the fact that there are many of us, that's absolutely amazing. And I know I can sit here and like joke about the fact that I am a trans femme VTuber who is reacting to trans memes, but at the same time, I mean, the fact that there are many of us means that like there's somebody to choose, which means that you have somebody you would like to watch. And I mean, yeah, you can say we're all cookie cutter, but I don't really think so. I mean, look at the differences between myself, Alice, Yuko, Nagi, Shireen, Ava. There are differences in our vibes, how we approach memes, how we talk about memes, and what we do. So I know this meme was mostly just kind of like a, oh wow, there's a lot of us now. But at the same time, there are a lot of us, which means that there's a lot for people to choose from and for people to pick who fits them best, and I think that's great. Hey there, little intermission just to say how much I really appreciate you and that you're absolutely amazing. And yes, this time I made sure to actually put the Discord link in the description down below. I was made fun of for it for the last video by some of my community members, and they made this meme about it. But no, seriously, this time I am opening stuff up just a little bit more for you all. I was kind of hesitant with YouTube because like my experience with YouTube in the past has been not super great when it came to being a trans content creator on this platform. However, that was YouTube Shorts, and long form videos seem to be way more like accepting and kind and generous, and you all are just so good. And I want to at least give you the option so you don't have to go to Twitch if you don't want to go to Twitch. But the link's still going to be on Twitch. It's going to be on my card. Many ways to get to it, but yeah, y'all are amazing, and if you haven't already done so, please come join streams. They're a lot of fun. I do silly little things and chat makes fun of me. And so now back to the memes. My daughter, she, what the fuck? Thank you, miss. Hers, she's miss young lady, she, girl, her, Elliot, my handsome man. Yeah, honestly, whenever it comes to just like being able to have somebody that just supports you for who you are, that's absolutely amazing. And you know, I know I'm not the only one who feels this.
I totally get it.
Yeah, actually, hi. I have Nagi here with me today. And Nagi, do you have any thoughts?
I think if you have at least that one special person who will always support you, everything will be alright, and everyone deserves this person in their life. And maybe we can be that person for you, someone who supports you. That's at least the role I wanted to take on as a supportive mate.
I mean, yeah, I feel like just having that one partner who's always there for you, who's giving you the comfort and the attention that you need is always absolutely fantastic and amazing. So, hi, Nagi, how are you doing today? And welcome to the cafe.
Thank you for having me here. I had a pretty good day so far, and thanks to you, it's even getting better now.
That's good to hear. Do you want to introduce yourself just a little bit?
I'm Nani Nagi, a trans femme catgirl maid. I've been doing YouTube content for about 3.5 months now, and it's been an incredible journey so far, and I've met a lot of awesome people. I mean, like you, for example, but many others, and I'm really happy to work together with you and so many other amazing creators. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no problem. And the obligatory Brad me to be like, no, I'm not cool is a little too strong, but I will let it slide this one time.
Okay.
So, stages of accepting that you're trans. Shock. What the fuck? Can you can be a girl? Denial. I mean, I'm not a girl, right? Anger. These memes are personally attacking me. I didn't even like ReZero anyways. Bargaining. Yeah, I can't be a girl. It's just a fetish, right? Depression. This is relatable. I am a girl. Acceptance. Yeah, pat my head. Yeah. Oh my god. It's like the 7 stages of like grief.
I gotta say, I'm in this picture and I'm not sure if I like it.
Yeah, I am also in this picture. I'm not really sure that I like it because like I will say I didn't really have anger, but I did have shock, denial, and bargaining and depression whenever I first was like figuring out my gender. So it feels so much better now that I'm at the level of acceptance.
Yeah, I was actually getting pretty scared shortly before I came out. I wasn't sure what would happen if I take that step. Will the people I know and love still stay at my side, or will they maybe abandon me? But no, that didn't happen, and I found so many other nice and supportive people who helped me on this journey, and that's also the reason why I want to do that, because I don't want anyone who's going through the same thing as you, me, and so many others. I don't want them to feel alone.
Definitely. I think it's much better to have people who are supportive around you and who can help you out. And
exactly.
Kind of like we talked in your video, which by the way, if you haven't already gone and seen, you should go watch Nagi's video. There might be a special guest in that one. Yeah, I'm
Maybe
plugging
someone
you.
very special.
I'm plugging you, but we had this little talk about how it's just better to let people come out on their own, because at the end, yes, they do go through all these stages, but they will come out accepting it, and it will be so much better. They figure that out on their own.
Definitely, definitely. That's how it went for me, and I couldn't imagine it any other way. Nah, there. I just don't get it, 13-year-old self. I've read my Bible every day. I've gone to so many camps and church services. Even at Bible studies at recess. Just how did this happen? And how come there weren't any signs? You're still that girl. But it's Christian music, Bible verse shirt, women's, but I like how it fits. Why don't these jeans have real pockets? Yeah, that's a most essential question. I just liked leopard print, okay? Well, maybe there were some signs after all. You just didn't notice them before.
Yeah, it's very likely that you just didn't notice. I mean, a show of hands of how many people really didn't realize that they were trans at an early age. I mean, my hand's gonna go up because like this was something that I struggled with. I was like, there were no signs. There were never any signs. There were a bunch of signs.
Yeah, same. But one day I suddenly remembered, oh wait, I was doing Yuri roleplay at some point. Because I really wanted to be in a lesbian relationship for many years and thought, I can never have something like that. And now I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I could just the countless number of times where I was just wanted to be a girl. Whenever I was in daycare, having all the girls go to one area to play games and having the boys go into another section and being siloed off to with the rest of the boys when I wanted to be with the girls to play like with dollhouses and Barbies and everything. I even remember like one of the girls being like, yeah, but we're playing with Barbies and dollhouses. That's not for boys. And I was just like, but that sounds fun. I want to do that. And then just...
Yeah. Don't lock someone out of the fun. That's not nice.
No, it's not. But at the same time, being young and in the Midwest where it's very heavily Christian, kind of like conservative Christian.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a lot of gender stereotypes kind of get like set into there, and it's just ugh. So. But I came out at the end.
Yeah, at the end, everything turned out well for you, and that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I never lost faith in you over these many years. Thank you, Link, the hero of Hyrule. May I ask, do you really remember me? Wait, are you...
It's me, princess.
Oh, Link should have just told me.
Wait, what?
You know I support you no matter what.
Okay. Oh my god.
Supportive Zelda is best Zelda.
I mean, yeah, supportive Zelda is best Zelda, but at the same time, can we talk about like how gendered Link is? Like, god, that little guy is like both the like gender envy of both trans femmes and trans masc at the same time, and also non-binary people just like being able to pull off all outfits. I'm kind of jealous. Like, my guy, how can you do everything all at once? I guess
that's why he's a real hero at the end of the day. He
Honestly,
can just pull it off.
He can do everything. It's amazing. So, well, Nagi, I just want to say thank you so much for being here at the cafe. And honestly, if you haven't checked out Nagi before, you really honestly should. She makes really good content, reacts to trans memes, is a fantastic person, and let's be real here, probably a little bit better than I am. So...
Stop saying that. You're making me cry.
Yeah, listen, I make a lot of people cry, but for good reasons. So I will never...
I tend to be emotional very easily, but I'm also really happy that that you gave me the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Oh, very, very much happy to have you here. So we should do this again sometime in the future.
All right. I'd like to join anytime, whenever you want.
Sounds good. Binder man, wears his binder whenever he can. Can he breathe? No, he can't. That's okay. At least he's flat. Look out! Here comes the binder man. I originally heard that in like the 1960s Spider-Man whenever I was like first reading this meme, and absolutely amazing. Heck yeah, my guy. I was just in the mountains not that long ago, and even just like a slight pressure on my chest just of like pushing in, you know, like I was winded, and just depending on like how much booba you have and how tight that's all packed, I couldn't even imagine how hard it is to breathe. I get it. I do get it. Like I can relate a little bit just because of like having mine be pushed in and just like feeling how heavier it is and like how suffocating that is. But if it makes you feel euphoric to see yourself with a flat chest, then hell yeah, I'm very happy for you. Just be sure to bind with responsibility and don't overdo it, all right? I would like to see you around, and I want to keep seeing you around because you're amazing, and you should know that. Don't argue. You can't argue with me. Shh, shut, no, listen. You, boy, do not argue with me, young man. I am your fox mom. When I tell you that you are amazing and that you are fantastic, I mean that you are amazing and that you are fantastic. I do not lie about that stuff, okay? Good boy. Why is my Twitter timeline all trans women? Yes, man. I was about to realize why. I mean, okay, my Twitter timeline and TikTok and Instagram and Blue Sky is nothing but trans women, and I'm not complaining. Oh my god. Ooh, some of you girlies. I'm just gay. I'm just gay, okay? That's all I gotta say. Why do I like being called a good girl even though I'm a guy? This is peculiar. I've had quite a few people in my comments, both here on YouTube and on Instagram and on TikTok, who have said the way that she says "good girl" really sends a shiver down my spine, and I don't know why. And all I can do is I can sit there and just go come back to me in 2 years and let me know what you find out, sweetie. So yeah, if you don't think I've been cracking eggs since before I started YouTube, oh sweetie, you have no idea how long I've been on here doing stuff like this. I've been cracking eggs for the past 1.5 years now. I just started on YouTube recently. So hi. Sends voice training audio. No way, you sound so feminine, it's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And has died from too many compliments. You'll have to buy a new one, sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry that you've been receiving so many compliments, but you deserve them, and I hope you know that. Don't think otherwise, alright? And I'm very proud of you that you sound extremely feminine as well. Be happy, girly. Your voice training is paying off. Good girl affirmations. Well, I mean, if that's all you wanted, all you had to do was ask. If all you wanted was for me to call you a good girl, or a good boy, or a good day, all you had to do was ask. I mean, on Twitch you have to redeem the points, but that's all you had to do. I think I have a couple of TikToks, maybe here on YouTube, that are floating around, where I call people good boys and good girls and good days. I guess let me know if you want me to link to those. Okay. Transgenderism. Transgenderism. Hey, how are you doing today? Can I interest you in a cute little fox girl with a silky smooth voice who can just whisper sweet nothings into your ear about how amazing you are? Is that okay? Are you okay with that? It's okay. You can be right in the face. I'll leave you alone for a little bit. How about that? Finds a great show with amazing queer rep. It gets canceled after like 1 or 2 seasons and ends on a cliffhanger. Oh, I don't know what show this is, but this reminds me of Amphibia. Amphibia was going through like just production purgatory of constantly not like being ever sure they were going to get another season, and always just like in the like limbo of, are they gonna have a new season or are they not gonna have a new season? So like whenever you watch Amphibia, you'll feel like each season wraps up like the story as a whole without like fully like hinting at another season, because the producers just didn't know if they could have another season. And the reason why is, and it was kind of falling into the same trap with like the Owl House, was just the main character was bi, and she was kind of just open about the fact that she wasn't even like, it wasn't even like a whole plot point, she was just bi. It's just like the same thing with like Luz, like yeah, she was bi the entire time, she was autistic, she was weird, but that gave a lot of people like the ability to see themselves, and that's what mattered. And it really wasn't that important to the story up until the end, when it like finally all came together. So I don't know, it hurts to see shows with like really good queer representation and are really good shows fail because some producer or exec was just like, nah, it's too gay. It's too gay. Make it less gay. Make it less inclusive. I'm happy that we're seeing more inclusion in some things, but at the same time, I'm kind of upset with the fact that we're seeing a lot of like diversity inclusion be removed as well. It's so frustrating and it's so heart-wrenching. So many people are not going to feel seen or heard. Overhearing my mom talk about her friend about gender and how it's going too far and that there are only 2 genders. Me overthinking my relationship with her and losing respect for her friend because I thought they supported me. I don't get why people have to be like, so many people want to just argue for the sake of arguing, and it's just, I don't understand why people have to be so set in their ways. Like, it's really not that hard to accept that there might be more things that you don't understand. There might be things that are outside your knowledge that you might not fully comprehend. And it's okay to be accepting of those things, or just to be weary and just being maybe skeptical. Like, having a healthy level of skepticism is fine, but being curious and wanting answers and finding answers and looking for answers to then understand why some people identify the way that they identify, or hell, even practice religion the way that they practice religion. It's different. It's always been different. And we don't raise that much of a stink whenever we see people practicing other, well, okay, some people do, but we don't raise that much of a stink whenever people are practicing their religion. We just let them be who they are. So why can't we do the same for trans people? Why can't we just listen to somebody, hear their experience, learn from their experiences, and accept that they may or may not fall within the gender binary? Because some people don't, and that's okay. They're just as valid, and they're just as important to this community and all communities. Hell, some of them are even regarded as shamans or as priests in some cultures. Interesting how that works out sometimes. Dad, I have something to tell you. I'm a lesbian. That's fine to me, but didn't you want kids? I do. But how are you gonna get pregnant then? I have someone to present to you. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is possible, but no, honestly, it's so hard being like a trans lesbian, because like I just feel, for the lack of a better wording, I just feel predatory, and it feels so wrong for me to like accept that title or to take the label of being a lesbian. And I've been in lesbian spaces and I've had both sides. I've had lesbians who have been extremely accepting of me and have been like making sure that I feel comfortable and making sure that I am seen and felt and heard as a lesbian. But then I've also had the experiences where I've had lesbians look down on me, judge me, and say that I'm not actually a woman, nor am I a lesbian. And I know that the latter is so rare and it's so few, but it stings so much and it sticks with me more. I actually talk about this on a podcast that I recently did, of how I had a lesbian who just retched at my voice during a game of Valorant, and how I felt so disgusted with myself. It's one of the few times that I actually hated my voice. And I got reminded that whenever other lesbians hear my voice, specifically cis lesbians, if they don't know who I am, they just say, that's a man. And so it's hard. I don't like that I have this distrust. I don't like that I have this unease of being around other lesbians and around other women. But like, I don't feel comfortable, because I know that I'm going to be judged, and I'm going to be seen and heard and treated as a man. I'm sorry, that's not what this meme was about. Props to the lesbians who are accepting. In all honesty, like, you have no idea how much it means. You have no idea how helpful it is. I wish more people were like you. I really do. But what if you regret it? But what if I don't? I mean, that's pretty much just it though. How can you know that you're gonna regret something if you've never tried it? How do you know that you're going to regret doing the thing if you've never done it? Do you regret eating that sandwich that you had earlier today? How did you know that you were going to regret it? Do you regret clicking on my YouTube channel? How would you know if you've never clicked on it? I mean, most of the people who are currently watching this video really don't regret it, but you get the idea, right? You will not know if you regret something if you've never tried it. You will miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And sometimes it is just worth taking that step. And if you don't like it, if you do end up regretting it, then I want you to keep in mind that you learned something. You have found something about yourself that you did not know before. You have found something out about yourself that many people have not found out about themselves. They just assume. I think that is absolutely wonderful. That is beautiful. And that is amazing. You tried. And trying is all that matters. And I'm proud of you for trying. I'm proud of you for taking the step to be your best self. That takes a lot. And, you know, there's something also to be said about transitioning. Like, you don't have to start HRT to start transitioning. You can socially transition. You can just start wearing the clothes of the gender that you would prefer. You can do makeup or paint your nails, grow your hair, cut your hair, style your hair however you want. Start using the bathroom that you would prefer and just see how it feels. A lot of these steps are scary, and a lot of them are very daunting, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. Take them at your own time, take them at your own pace, and you will find out if it's right for you or not. Okay? Again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so why not take this one and just find out for yourself? Be happy, be you, and you will always attract people who will support you for it. At this point, do I look like a masculine woman, a feminine man, androgynous, neutral? I don't know, but I'm changing. Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I've been feeling a lot recently. It's like I look in the mirror and I'm just like, I'm not a guy. But I feel like that's pretty obvious nowadays. Like, I'm not a man. I'm not a boy. I'm not a guy. But am I like, how do I look? What do I look like? All I can say is that I definitely look different than I did before I started HRT. And oh my God, it's so amazing. I'm so happy with the changes that have happened. And honestly, ever since I got bangs, game over. That's it. That I am the most gender. I am the gender. So there's something I want to talk about. There are many of you who think you're faking being trans, but you aren't. Let me explain. You get upset, or at least feel wrong when you think that, right? Yeah, you're not faking it. You are trans. People who fake anything, big or small, actively know they're faking. They don't care. It doesn't make them feel any sort of way, but yet you get upset. You care. That is how I know you are faking nothing. Whatever gender you are, or lack thereof, you are yourself. You are faking nothing, and you never will be. Yeah, it reminds me of the time when I was starting to come out myself, and I had a lot of self-doubts about being trans, and like, was I really trans, and was I really a trans lesbian? And I was watching one of OT's videos, and he had mentioned someone or at the very least phrased what they had said as being, if you think you're faking something and you start to feel like you're faking it, there's a really high chance that you are not faking it. If it makes you happy to be seen and perceived as the thing that you think you're faking, you're not faking it. You're doing a wonderful job and you're an amazing person. Keep at it. And you might just find that you are happy, just maybe you find out that you're happy being that person, and then you'll see that you were not faking it this entire time. Take the chance. Trust me, you'll be happy. Or you'll learn something about yourself and you'll know that it's not for you. Hey there, you still awake? I know last time quite a few of you were just like, yes, I'm still awake, but I thought it was very cute to at least check in on you all. I want to thank you all so much for, sticking to the end of this video and being in full force and watching these. That's absolutely amazing, and I really do greatly appreciate it. Please be sure to leave a like, a follow, and, subscribe if you haven't already. And also, I would like to thank my patrons so much for being able to, help support me make these videos. It means a lot to me, and you all are special, and I just want you all to know that. Also, I want to give you a huge shout out to Nani Nagi for joining me in on this video. It was a little bit of a last minute addition, but she's absolutely amazing and fantastic, and you honestly should go check out her memes if you haven't already. She's very funny, very insightful on a lot of things, and is just a very lovely person. So go drop her some follows, go drop her a likes, comment on her stuff, and show how much you appreciate her as well. Now then, there is no blooper for today, but maybe I can just give you the secret little outro that I usually do. So get over here, get in really close, and let me just tell you, you are amazing, you are fantastic, your smile is radiant and is absolutely beautiful. You are so warm for those around you, and you are a precious being for everybody. I'm very proud of you, and you have done amazing. Keep it up, sweetie.